Okay, so what we're going to do in this video is I'm going to go through the exit task questions that we did the other day in class on inverse functions. So first of all, from the lesson on Thursday, I explained what an inverse function is and how we can have an inverse function. So an inverse function, in order to have an inverse function, it must be 1 to 1. So therefore it must have for every x value only one y value, and vice versa. Therefore, on a parabola, which is what the exit task was that I gave you, so this one here, so this is a parabola, okay, we have to restrict the domain in order for it to become 1 to 1, okay. Now, the first thing you're going to do for this is obviously draw your axes, x and y. Perfect, so I didn't give that to you this time. And you're going to check out what the domain is. So the domain of the function means that it starts at +2, and the square bracket means that it's including +2, and it goes to infinity. So therefore, we're going to substitute values that are greater than 2 into the equation. So when x is equal to 2, f of 2 is equal to 2 squared, which is equal to 4. So your first point on your graph is at 2, 4, and you're just going to draw a dot there, okay? And it's a closed circle because it's included. When f of x was equal to 3, it's going to be 3 squared, which is equal to 9. So I'm just going to draw that point here. And I'm going to join up those dots, and I'm going to hope that I can do this really well because I'm using my finger. And there's your function, roughly. Okay, so that's your f of x function. I'm going to scroll down. I hope that makes sense. So, and I put an arrow on the end because it's to infinity. So it continues, yeah? So we've sketched the graph of that. Now we're going to find the inverse function of that. And the first question I'm going to ask you is, what's the inverse of a squared? And I'm hoping you're going to say to me, square root. The inverse of a squared is a square root, yeah? So, therefore, what's going to happen to this, f of x is equal to x squared. Okay, we're going to substitute and change the x's for the y's. So this is going to be x equals to y squared. Y is equal to the square root of x. Okay, so therefore f to the power of -1x is equal to the square root of x. Now remembering that our domain and range flip pretty much, so what is, my next question would be to you, would be what is the range of this function? And the range of the function is from 4 to infinity. So I'm just going to write that there. So the range of f of x is equal to, including 4 to infinity. Yeah. So we have the domain as 2 to infinity and the range is that. So the domain of f to the power of -1 is 4 to infinity, and the range is 2 to infinity. Quite easily done. All right, I'm gonna do a different video for the next question. So if you've got any questions, chat to me in class. Make sure you're really down with restricting domains, one-to-one functions, graphing functions, and then studying